Welcome back to the Bryan Devore Connection. I'm your host, Bryan Devore. Working with people who have memory loss issues can be a challenge. It's especially difficult for those who have developmental disabilities. Well, there's a wonderful program that's available right now for people with developmental disabilities and memory loss. It's a collaborative effort between two organizations, and here to talk about that collaborative effort is Todd Shetter with ActivCare Living and Keane with Noah Homes. How are you guys doing today?
Doing well,
Great,
thank you.
thanks.
Good. Well, I wanted you guys to come. I experienced Noah Homes a little bit in a seminar I attended. I'm like, I got to get them here to talk about this amazing program. Todd, with ActivCare, let's first talk about ActivCare.
Sure.
What is ActivCare? What do you guys do?
So ActivCare Living is a San Diego-based company. We are a assisted living provider. We've been in business here in San Diego for a little over 35 years now.
Wow.
And we've kind of owned and operated the whole gamut of senior housing, from independent living, assisted living. We owned and operated some traditional skilled nursing facilities. Started in the early 80s and kind of progressed to the point where we recognized the need and kind of our love for caring for folks with dementia, traditional geriatric clients that had primarily Alzheimer's disease, and began to focus on that in 2010, building our own buildings, managing our own buildings in San Diego County and in Orange County.
I've been to your buildings in San Diego, and they're fabulous. And taking a tour of it and learning about your philosophy of how you work with people who do have memory loss, and also with the families too.
Sure.
You know, because it's not a disease just for the person; it's a disease of the family.
Really is. It's Alzheimer's is the type of disease that impacts the whole family. And families, what's different about Alzheimer's than traditional assisted living or independent is the family members themselves have been caregivers. They've been the frontline caregiver, providing care at home. They'll do it for as long as they can at home. They finally get to the point where they kind of raise that white flag and ask for help. And that's where we come in beside them. And we suggest to them that they partner with us. We don't want to take over. We want to be partners. We want them to come in, let us do the heavy lifting, let us do the day-to-day care. They can return to being daughters, they can return to being sons, and we can do that together. There's no way you can create at home the kind of structure we have in our communities, the way we've built the buildings, the staff we hire, the training we provide. There'll be 12 to 15 of our staff members that come alongside that resident in caring for them, and housekeeping and food services, and you just can't afford to create that at home. And so it's really an effective way and an efficient way, but also a real meaningful way to take care of somebody that has dementia.
Absolutely. All right, so there was one fateful day, and you told me the story, so I want you to kind of, briefly kind of tell it again, of how you met the lady beside you who's doing some wonderful work for people with developmental disabilities.
Sure. So Noah's Home is a expert in their field, and we crossed paths probably about 8 years ago. Kim's peer and the CEO of Noah Home, Molly Nocon, and I met at an Alzheimer's Project Committee meeting at the County of San Diego. I had not heard of Noah's Home before and started hearing their origin story and what they do down in Spring Valley. And it's amazing how much alignment that we had. They were the pioneers for developmentally disabled folks with dementia. We pioneered traditional Alzheimer's care in a residential setting here in Southern California. And we started talking about how similar our paths were. What was really intriguing is that they built two dementia homes on their property down in Spring Valley. First in the country to do that. I had to jump through a lot of hoops with the San Diego Regional Center and got a lot of attention for very good reasons, because it had never been done before. And there was a population that had been unserved in the right environment, with the right kind of approach, with the right training for the staff. And we just kind of, said, wouldn't it be great to do something together one day, and kind of went back into our own lane and ended up meeting about 5 years later, Kim and her crew, and Molly came down and toured at Rolling Hills Ranch. I went over and spent a little time with them on their campus and went through the dementia homes and started talking about the need in the community and how much of a wait list was in place and how many people were in need of the services that we were both providing, and that kind of started the conversations.
Yeah, that's amazing. So Kim, tell us about Noah Homes and how you started there and what can people expect from Noah Homes?
So I'm excited to say we're celebrating our 40th anniversary this year.
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
so Noah Homes is a residential care community. We're a social community in Spring Valley, and we support 90 adults with developmental disabilities. We care for adults with various disabilities. Some of our residents are extremely high functioning and just need a little bit of staff support, and some of our folks are total care. And we have been known nationwide, and I think that Todd mentioned, our reputation is stellar because of the excellent care that we provide. And so we have been looking to continue to expand our mission without necessarily building more homes, because the culture of Noah is really special. And we have 10 homes that we support our residents in, but we did want to share our mission and share our training programs with other agencies so they could support what we do in our population.
What is unique about caring for someone who has dementia and developmental disabilities?
One of the very unique things is, sadly, a large population of our folks have a diagnosis of Down syndrome, and those individuals get early onset Alzheimer's very, very young in life. And so what we would typically see much later, we're having early onset diagnoses as early as their late 30s, and they're passing by their late 40s. And so they're getting that diagnosis really early, so those needs increase much earlier in life, and then they accelerate much faster through the stages of Alzheimer's. So the level of care that they need is quite substantial.
Well, and also too, we're talking about a vast array of age differences between some of the people you're working with in your homes. You have younger people and you have the older people as well, so your caregivers must be very skilled at being able to do both.
Yes, I think one of the things that sets us apart in our industry is the level of training that we provide. And we have written and developed multiple training programs that we've shared with other agencies, like ActivCare Living. We're vendorized through the state of California for the trainings that we offer for this field as well. And so we have the pleasure of being able to support not just the Noah Home staff, but staff across the country as well.
No, that's fabulous. So talk about the collaboration, how you guys started working together and what that model looks like. Who wants to jump at that one?
I'll let Kim go first.
All right.
Yeah, so one of the great things was Todd had mentioned that we went back and forth, and a couple years separated from when we first met and when we met again. And when we decided to establish this collaborative partnership, we took our residents who live at Noah Homes down to one of the ActivCare locations. And for them, it was what we would call an outing. They just wanted to have a fun social activity. And we brought our folks down there and walked into their great room, and they were so excited to meet new friends, and the residents of ActivCare were so excited to have guests come into the building. And it just made my heart so happy to watch them all integrate together and just treat each other just as we should, just as humans.
That's amazing.
It was really fun on many different levels, because it was really 2021 we started talking about it. We started kind of sitting down and getting serious about it. And if you think about that time period that's coming out of the pandemic, we had all had our heads down, just kind of driving, surviving, doing what we needed to do for the last 2.5 years. And so for me personally, it was a way to focus on something positive and focus on something that was meaningful, that was going to have some lasting impact on people's lives. And so it was really cathartic to be able to kind of envision what this could be, collaborate, do something that hadn't been done before. And so we went with Noah's Home in tow and put together this partnership and went to the San Diego Regional Center and said, listen, we pitched it as a pilot project. This hadn't been done before. We have an assisted living environment. We're licensed by Title 22, so are they. It's just a matter of overlaying kind of another layer of regulatory compliance that, with their help, we were very comfortable doing. And so we did that. We became vendorized with the San Diego Regional Center as a provider. And that allows people with intellectual and developmental disabilities to live with us in ActivCare in 2 communities. ActivCare at Rolling Hills Ranch in Chula Vista, ActivCare at Forest Ranch, kind of in central San Diego. And we just kind of went down that road and threw it out there. And Kim and I kind of started an education campaign with the staff within the regional center because they didn't know what it was either.
Sure.
And so really we feel like today we've kind of broken through. We've changed our category one time. We're really kind of in that sweet spot of having 8 residents that have lived with us now between those 2 buildings. And we're getting referrals that are more and more appropriate each time that we get an email. And so surprisingly, everybody that has moved in with us has been over the age of 55.
Okay.
And primarily with a diagnosis of Down syndrome and dementia together. And that's part of that advanced aging that Kim talked about. But my gosh, they're just so appropriate, so enlightened, and they add so much to our program and to our residents and to our communities. It's really been a joy to see that, both for our staff, for our residents, for our families. They've just embraced the residents in the program, and they fit in beautifully.
Yeah, I'll bet. So Noah Homes has, obviously, your beds are full at this
Yes.
point. We talked about that, and unfortunately there's a waiting list. But the good news is they can get the care at ActivCare,
Yes.
similar to what they would get at Noah Homes. What does the future look like for Noah Homes? We talked about expansion and so forth. What does that look like?
So one of the things that we've been able to do just through this partnership is Noah Homes started with 20 beds for memory care individuals, and since we opened our doors, they've been full. And internally, we have several residents that are just waiting for an opening because they've already been diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's. So it was sad for us to have to take calls from families who were desperate, and we knew we were full, and we were going to be full for quite some time. And so when we started this project, Noah Homes was the first in the state. We had 20 beds. And then as we moved through this partnership with ActivCare, we added another 20 beds in Forest Ranch, and then we added another 20 beds in Rolling Hills Ranch. And now we're moving up to the Orange County area as well. So if you think of the number of individuals we've been able to serve and increase our capacity to serve just through this partnership, it's been substantial. And so our goal at Noah Homes is to continue to be able to serve more individuals in this fashion and be able to advocate for quality services nationwide for our population, whether it's the choice of services, the choice of housing models, and to make sure that the care providers that are working with them have the highest level training possible. There's a significant turnover rate in this industry, and what we found is that's typically because the care professional is not trained appropriately to be able to handle not just the dementia, but also on top of that, working with adults with developmental disabilities. So our goal is to continue to help serve more individuals through those different programs.
Yeah, that's great. Well, you guys are each individually doing great work at your organizations, but the collaboration, it just, it makes it, 10 times the availability and the services you're able to provide. So both of your information is on screen for those of you who are watching on video. If you are listening on Spotify, your favorite podcast station, it's in the caption, but we have the information for Noah Homes, we have the information for ActivCare Living. Todd and Kim, thank you so much for joining me today and educating the audience.
Okay. Thanks for having us, Brian.
Thanks
My
for having
pleasure.
us.